Hi, my name is Jeff, and today I'm going to show you how to create a simple Express application and connect with MongoDB. So with me is an open folder. I've called it server. You can call it whatever you want, but basically it's just a file, an empty file. So to start with, first of all, you need to initialize an Express project. So you are going to open your terminal. So for opening the terminal, you can click Control, then the backtick. So the backtick is the key above the tab. So you're going to, maybe if I'm closed, I can press Control, then tab, the key above the tab, and the terminal is going to open. So with the terminal open, you're going to type P. So in this case, because most of you don't use P and PM, you're going to type P npm, then init, then dash, then y. So flag dash y means that you accept all the default settings. So you're going to press enter. Then this is going to generate a package.json, which basically is used to manage your project. So after creating a package.json, we have the name, which takes the name of the folder, then the version, your version 1, then you can add your description, your project description. Then it's having index.js as the entry file. Then we have the script, then you can add your keywords, the author, license, and then the common. So for the type, I'm going to change into modules. So modules, then module, not modules. Then I'm going to create this file because now the entry file is marked as index.js. So I'm going to create that index.js, then press enter. Then I'm going to create git.ignore, where we are going to ignore all the files we don't want to push into GitHub. Git.ignore. Then I'm going to add node modules, node underscore modules. Then we are going to add a .env, then maybe dist, and so on and so forth. So any file that you don't want to push to GitHub, you can add it over here. So in this case, we don't want to add our environment variables or modules. So next, we are going to now import all the necessary packages we need to create this. And the primary one, we need the Express. So in this case, we are going to install, we are going to type npm, then install. So the packages we want to install. In this case, we want to install the Express and then the Mongoose. So Mongoose is used to manage database connection and data entry in MongoDB. So we are going to install, in this case, Express and MongoDB for now, and press enter. So this might take a while, but before it does, because now we have changed the type to modules, now we can use import. So in this case, we'll be importing files like this. So we have like import Express. So as we wait Express to download, but because we have used modules, now we will be using import to pull the packages. Before, if this is a common, just like it was, so let's say it's common.js. For common.js, how you import a file, it's like this. You say like const express, so in this case express equals require. So for common, we use require, then the name of the package, in this case express. But because I want to use the latest ES6, express.js, I'm going to use import. And for me to use import, in this case, I'm going to change the type to module. In this case, I'm going to change this one to module, into module. So I can use the import. So in this case, I can comment this, import express from then express. So let us wait for this will take, this depends on your internet speed for it to install, so it might take a while. But now we have like express important, then we can create an instance of this express. Now how do we do that? We create and store it in a variable, so we can call the variable an app, then equals then express, and you have your parentheses. So we can use this app express instance stored in this variable to now create the server. So in this case, to create a server, we can use now the variable. So that is app dot then listen. So we are going to listen for any connection in our server. So we are going to listen for a connection. And for listen, we pass two parameters. That is a callback function, the port and the callback. So we'll start with a port. So we can give it a port, say 3001. Then we return with a callback. So after we have connected, this is the function which we wanted it to run. So in this case, we write an arrow function, and then now we can console log. So this console log will run when the app is connected. So in this case, console.log, then we can output something. So let me output an URL where our app is running. So in this case, it will be on localhost. Then the port, we are using port 3001. So we can, after now we are going to wait for the Express and Mongoose to download. But in the meantime, I will come back afterwards. So once your Express and Mongoose have installed, now we can try to run this server, because now this is a complete, because we are importing the express, then we are creating the instance of that express, and then we are listening for the express. So in this case, we can run this. So how do we run? We run by npm, but we need the script first, because now the script are the ones which we run. So because I said the package.json is used to manage your application, now you need to go to package .json. Then over here inside the script, you can delete this one, the test one, and hand it your script. So you can have start. For start, you can use node, then the name of the file, index.js. So we are going to run our app using node, because something else I did mention, the prerequisite of this, you need to have like node installed. So you need node.js installed. So the prerequisite, you need node installed, this one. So you will come to node.js.org/en, where you are going to install node. So node basically is a runtime environment for JavaScript. So you don't need like a browser to run node. You can now run it on any cross-platform. So it's a runtime environment. So it provides an environment for JavaScript to run. So in this case, in a server. So in this case, now we are going to use this node. After now you have installed, we are going to use this node. Then now we run this file, index.js. So in this case, we are going to run it using npm, then the name of the script. So npm, then run, and then the name of the script. In this case, it's start. And you can press enter. and then this application is going to run. So this file index.js is going to run. In this case, we are running this file version 1. Then this is the message. Now, this message is being console logged. So after listening, this was the callback, what was to run. So in this case, we can see the message. But now, on visiting this URL, let me open it. On visiting this URL, you're getting like you cannot reach to because there is no endpoint. So there are HTTP methods. So in this case, I can write a simple HTTP, and one of them it's app. So I'm going to use the app express instance, then get. So this is like the client requesting for data. So in this case, the client. So from the browser, I'm going to request for something. So in this case, this is the URL, the root URL, a slash. Then I'm going to write a callback function with request, and response, and response, and response. And this is a callback function. So using the response, now maybe imagine now, because we are getting nothing over here. So we want to return something. So it's me as a client, I want to request something from the backend. So I'm going to visit this slash, and I think I wrote this localhost with an error. I'm going to change that so it's localhost, not with an E. But yeah, basically you are going to visit now the URL. Then now the client is going to request something. So let me send something to the client. So meaning now I return after now the client has requested. Now we are going to send him a response. So we are going to use response dot send method. Then we are going to give our client something, maybe hello, then world. So after doing that, we can rerun this server again because the URL was broken. So for you to terminate a running server, I'm going to press Ctrl then C, letter C. Now let me run again. npm run then start the name of the script. We are going to run the index.js again. We give it time, then we can visit this URL localhost 3001. You can press enter, then you can see the message. We are getting an hello world. So this is the client requesting for data, then the server is responding or giving back a message which is set on that URL, which is the root URL. In this case, we are getting a message, hello world. So for you, you have noticed that for any time we make changes, maybe if I make hello world or maybe hello, we need to like rerun the server again. So for me to like see the new messages, because if I try to refresh over here, I cannot get the previous. Now I have to like rerun the server again. And this becomes very tedious. So I have to like terminate this one, then rerun again for me to get the new something new, which have the update. So I have to like rerun, keep on rerunning the server for me to get the new. So for you to be able to auto rerun this server, you need another package which is called nodemon. So for you to install a nodemon, you are going to type npm then I for install. So you can use I or the full name install. So in this case, you can use install nodemon, not nodemon or node daemon. So like you can install this nodemon like that, or you can use I. Let me use I in this case. So nodemon. Then we can press enter. So this nodemon will help us to like keep on listening the any changes, and then it reruns the server for us without necessarily having to come and rerun it on our own. So as this runs, let me configure now the nodemon as we wait it for to install. So you will come to your package.json, then on the package.json on the script. Now because we want to run our server using the nodemon, now on the script you leave this start because you need it on production. Now you are going to add a comma, then you are going to add dev. Now you can name it this one anything you want. You can name it maybe dev start, but let me just name it as dev. Then we are going to run our script using the nodemon. So in this case we are going to use nodemon, then index. We are going to run the same file index.js. So I had an error, so I think I had a typo. I don't know. npm hi nodemon. So I'll come back after now the nodemon has installed. So once your nodemon has installed, so you can check all the installed packages over here. These are the dependencies. We have the express, the mongoose, and then the nodemon, and these are the versions. So we are on express version 5, mongoose version 9, and then nodemon version 3. So after now you have installed your nodemon, you can run now the dev script to run your server using the nodemon. So in this case, we're going to type npm, then run, npm run, and a typo. You can say npm run, then dev. So this time we are going to use dev script because it's linked to nodemon to run this server. So we are going to use nodemon. So we are going to run the development script. So as we wait for the server to run, now you can see we are running our script using nodemon, and then nodemon is saying starting on node, then index.js. Now we can visit this URL. And you are getting the same message. But the good thing about this one is any changes, the nodemon is automatically after any form of change, the nodemon is going to restart. Now I can add an hello world over here, world, and the server is going to auto restart on itself, as you can see. And on visiting your endpoints, I can refresh over here. You're getting your messages, so you don't have to like keep on restarting the server. So this is how like the basic way of setting up an express, where like you are creating, you're importing the express, then you are creating the instance. So you don't really need this one, but yeah, where you are creating the express instance, storing it on a variable, then you can use this variable to listen over here by passing the port and the callback function. Then now you can give a client something. So the client is requesting or getting something using this URL. This is the root URL slash, then we have the request. So the client request, then you give the response. So in this case, we are sending an hello world. So let me show you how to connect our database to this simple express server. So in this case, I'm going to create another folder and call it config. Then inside the config, I'm going to add another file that is database db.js. So for connection, I'm going to use mongodb. So how do we connect our mongodb locally on our machine or on our laptop? So in this case, I'm going to use mongodb is a NoSQL. So I'm going to use what we call mongodb campus. So this is a self-hosted graphical user interface. So it provides a way to like handle your data locally on your machine. So you are going to download this MongoDB. It's free. like you don't have to pay for anything. So to connect this one, after now installing, so I can pull out my compass, my mongodb compass. So after installing, let me show you the how it looks like, the graphical user interface for mongodb, the mongodb compass. So I'm going to open it. So I've opened two instances. So after you have opened, so you'll get something like this, okay? Where you have to, like, you have your connection. So I think this one will be by default, and then now you can click the connect, but you don't really need to do anything. And then by default, I think you will have only the admin database and the config database. For the rest, it's up to you to add, but you don't need to do anything. So as you can see, we have the local host, then port 27017. So this is the MongoDB default port. So we are going to use this port to connect to this database. The good thing about this one, you don't need to do anything to create a database over here. So all you need to do, but anything you will learn will come to this MongoDB. So, but you need to have this one for you to be able to connect. So how do we connect? So we'll come to our database, then import mongoose. Now you remember the mongoose we installed. Now this is where it comes in. So we are going to use the mongoose ODM. So ODM means object data modeling for database. So in this case, we are going to come to our database, then import now. Import because we are using the module. So import, then mongoose. So we are going to import the mongoose from mongoose package. Then we are going to use this mongoose. We are going to create a function to connect to the database. So this function, we are going to store it in a variable. So it's const then connect db, connect database, connect db equals. Then we are going to have it as mongoose dot then connect. Now this is a function. Sorry, this is a function. This is an arrow function. Then we are going to say mongoose dot connect. And then we are going inside the connect, we are going to pass the URL as you can see as a string. Then there are other options, but the options, I think they are duplicated. You don't need the options for now, but you can just pass a URL and you will be able to connect. So in this case, we are going to just pass the URL as a string. So we are going to pass. So this is how a MongoDB connection string looks like. MongoDB campus string looks like. So it's MongoDB, then Mongo, then DB. Then we are going to pass the slash slash. Then the this string that you saw over here, that is like the local host, then the port number. So we are going to pass the MongoDB slash, then local host. Then we are going to pass the port number. So that was 27017. That is like the default port the Mongo Compass is using. By just doing this function is able to connect to database. But now we are going to listen for any error. So we are going to add a try catch error to handle any exceptions. So in this case, we are going to try connect to a database, but if it connect, we can console log. We can console log over here, database connected, connected and successfully. So we are going to connect. If this database connect, we are going to run this console log. We are going to see it over here. Otherwise, if an error occurs, we are going to console log. console.log database error, database, then error. Then we are going to display the error, the actual error, but now we are going to pass this error over here. Any error which occurs, so we are going to pass the error over here. So we have this function, so we are going to export this function and let it be accessible on the index, because we are going to use this database connection on the index file. So what we are going to do, we are going to export this function. So we are going to export as default, then the name of the function, connect DB. Now by exporting this that database connection function, we can import it over here. So we can import connect db from. Now as you can see over here, the file ending is db. So for it to work, you have to like add .js, the extension. You need an extension. If you don't add an extension, the server will throw an error. Already you can see. If you don't add the function over here, we will get an error. This error is because we were lacking the extension. That's why if I remove this extension, you can see we are going to get an error. We are getting an error. But if you add this extension, so always remember to add the extension. You don't get an error. In this case, you will only get an up run over here. So in this case, we have this function. So all we have to do is call this function. Maybe before we connect the database, we can run it somewhere over here. Connect DB. Then how do you run a function? You add a parenthesis before that. Just by doing that, you have connected your database. If all goes well, the database should be connected. So you can wait it for to connect. So always when you are connecting a database, it will always take some time. So database connected successfully, and then we are on this. So by just doing that, where you have written this function to connect, and you are handling the error, you have exported, and then you are accessing it on our index, our entry file, and then you are just calling this function inside the entry file. That's all you need to connect to a database. So this application or this server is connected to MongoDB campus. So you can just add that on your Mongo campus.